Good morning, Junior 6. Let's start with our lesson today, which is called Mass and Weight. There is a confusion between mass and weight, and this confusion is considered one of the most common mistakes in our daily life. So, what is the difference between mass and weight? Or what is the definition of the mass and weight? Let's start with mass. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. It's the amount of matter in an object. It's the amount of matter in an object. Like your bag. The amount of matter in your bag is the books. So, the mass of your bag is the amount of your books in your bag. So the mass is the amount of matter in an object. It's the amount of matter in an object. There are some properties of the mass. Number one, the mass of an object will increase when the amount of the matter increases. Like your bag, the mass of your bag will increase as you increase your books. So the mass of any object will increase when the amount of matter increases. Number two, all matter have mass. All the matter have mass, whatever their physical state. You know from Junior 4 that there are three states of matter which are solid, liquid, and gas. So the all matter have mass, whatever their physical state, whatever it's solid or it's liquid or it's gas. Number three, the mass of any matter is a fixed value. The mass of any matter is a fixed value. Fixed value means it doesn't change by changing the place. So the mass of any matter is a fixed value because it doesn't change by changing the place. Now we are talking about the units of mass. There are two units of mass. Number one, gram and kilogram. Gram and kilogram. Gram used to measure the small masses. The gram used to measure small masses like gold. But the kilogram used to measure the large masses. It's a unit for measuring the large masses like fruits or vegetables. But the gram, it's a unit for measuring small masses like gold or silver. So the gram used for measuring small masses, but the kilogram used for measuring large masses. A paper clip is equal to 1 gram. Paper clip equal to 1 gram. And a liter of distilled water equal to 1 kilogram. Liter of distilled water equal to 1 kilogram. And you know that the 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So, what are the measuring units of mass? There are two units of mass. Number one, gram and kilogram. Gram for measuring small masses, gram for measuring small masses like gold, and kilogram for measuring the large masses like fruits. Paper clip equal to 1 gram, but the 1 liter distilled water equal to 1 kilogram, and 1 kilogram equal to 1,000 grams. So the 1 kilogram equal to 1,000 grams. Okay? Now we are talking about the measuring devices of masses. How can I measure the mass? By devices or by scales. And these scales, there are two types of scales that measure the mass. There are one-arm scales and two-arm scales. One-arm scales and two-arm scales. One-arm scales like digital scale like digital scale and a scale with a pointer. This is the digital scale and this is the scale with a pointer. Two-arm scales, there are two examples about two-arm scales. Number one, balance scale, and this is a sensitive scale. So there are two types of scales, one-arm scale and two-arm scale. One arm like what? Like digital scale and scale with a pointer. Two-arm scales like what? Like balance scale and sensitive scale. Digital scale used to measure the small masses, but the scale with the pointer is used to measure the large masses. Balance scale used to measure the large masses, but the sensitive scale used to measure the small masses. So let's revise from the beginning. What is the definition of the mass? Mass is the amount of matter in an object. It's the amount of matter in an object. And there are two units for measuring mass. Number one, gram, and the gram is used to measure the small masses, and kilogram used to measure the large masses. And the measuring devices of masses, there are two types of scales, one-arm scale and two-arm scale. One arm like digital or scale with a pointer, and two-arm scales like balance or sensitive scale. Let's evaluate. Number one, give reason. The mass of the body on the Earth's surface equals the mass of the same body on the moon's surface. Give reasons means give me why. The mass of the body on the Earth's surface equals the mass of the same body, because the mass of the body is a fixed value. The mass of the body is a fixed value, and it doesn't change by changing the place. So the mass of any body on the Earth's surface equals to the mass of this same body on the moon's surface. Number two, the balance scale should be placed horizontally on a stable shelf. The balance, when you measure the mass of any object, the balance scale should be placed horizontally on a stable shelf to avoid any vibration of the balance scale. To avoid any vibration for the balance scale, to read the reading right. To read the reading right, or to measure the mass right. Now, let's talking about the weight. Let's talking about the weight. What is the definition of the weight? To discover the concept or the definition of the weight, we have two pictures. Number one, these children fall down when they jump up on the Earth's surface. These children, they fall down when they jump up on the Earth's surface. Why? And here, the picture number two, if you let a ball free from your hand, it will fall down to the Earth's surface. Why? Because, or the reason for the object fall downward to the Earth is a type of force. The reason for the object fall downward to the Earth is a type of force. This type of force called weight. This type of force called weight or gravitational force. Weight or gravitational force. So, what is the weight? What is the definition of weight? Weight is the force by which the body is attracted to the Earth. It's the force by which the body is attracted to the Earth. It's the force by which the body is attracted to the Earth. It's the force by which the body is attracted to the Earth. or it's the gravitational force, because the weight means gravitational force. So it's the gravitational force acting on the body's masses, So what is the weight? It's the force by which the body is attracted to the earth. It's the force by which the body is attracted to the earth. And it's the gravitational force acting on the body's masses. Like the mass, there are some properties of the mass. At the same way, there are some properties of the weight. Number one, the effect of the weight is always directed towards the center of the earth. Is always directed into the center of the earth, because the center of the earth have the weight or have the force that attracted the object to the center of the earth. So the effect of the weight is always directed to the center of the earth. On earth, all objects have weight, because the earth has force that attracted the object to the earth. But in space, there is no gravity, there is no gravitational force. So in space, all objects are in a state of weightlessness. Weightlessness means that the weight in space equals 0. So on the earth, all objects have weight, but in space, all objects are in a state of weightlessness. So the weight in space equals 0, because there is no gravitational force. Number 4, the weight of an object is not a fixed value. The weight of an object is not a fixed value. It differs from one place to another. So the properties of weight, the effect of the weight is always directed to the center of the earth. And on the earth, all the objects have weight. But in space, there is no gravitational force. So there is no weight. So the weight equals 0. And the weight of an object is not a fixed value. Unlike the mass is a fixed value. It doesn't change by changing the place, but the weight is changed by changing the place, or differ from one place to another. Let's recap from the beginning. What is the mass? Mass is the amount of matter in an object. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. And there are 3 properties of the mass. The mass of an object will increase when you increase the amount of mass. And remember your bag. When you increase the number of your books, so the mass of your bag will increase. Number 2, all metals have masses, whatever it's solid or liquid or gas. And number 3, and it's an important property of the mass is a fixed value. It doesn't change by changing the place. And there are 2 units of mass. What are the units of mass? Gram and kilogram. Gram and kilogram. Gram for measuring small masses, but the kilogram for measuring large masses. Gram for measuring what? Small masses, but the kilogram for measuring large masses. The paper clip equals to 1 gram, but the distilled water equals to 1 kilogram. The measuring devices of masses, there are 2 types of scales, 1-arm scale and 2-arm scale. 1-arm scale like digital scale and scale with a pointer. And 2-arm scale like what? Like balance scale and sensitive scale. What is the definition of the weight? Weight is the force by which the object attracted to the earth. Attracted to the earth. And the effect of this weight is always directed toward the center of the earth. And on earth, all objects have weight because the earth has gravitational force, so it has a force that attracted the object to the earth, but instead all objects are in a state of weightlessness, means the weight in the space equals 0. The weight of an object is not a fixed value, so it differs from one place to another. It differs from one place to another. The measuring unit of weight. Weight is measured in a unit called Newton. Weight is measured in a unit called Newton. So the Newton is the unit for measuring weight. So the Newton is the unit for measuring weight. And 1 Newton equals 100 grams. 1 Newton equals 100 grams. 1 Newton equals 100 grams. But 1 kilogram equal what? Yes, super. Equal 1,000 grams. 1 kilogram equal 1,000 grams. The measuring device of weight, there is only one device to measure the weight, that's called spring scale. That's called spring scale. So the spring scale is the device that measures weight. The spring scale is the device that measures the weight. Now let's evaluate. Give reason number 1. Weight in space equals 0. Why the weight in space equals 0? Because there is no gravitational force. There is no gravitational force in the space, so the weight equals 0. Number 2. The weight of an object is not a fixed value. It differs from one place to another. Why? Because the gravitational force, it changes from one place to another. So the weight depends on the gravitational force, and as the gravitational force changes from one place to another, so the weight will change from one place to another. So the weight of an object is not a fixed value, because the gravitational force changes from one place to another.